Hi, Nom.
Hello, Dennis. How are you?
I am good, thank you. Welcome
Great.
to our live podcast, Heal You From Within by Sendent Healthy Talk. And we have been kind of off the whole summer, just, taking our self care and our own time to heal ourselves and relax a bit. So now the fall coming, so we are back on track with our bi weekly podcast.
Yep.
And tonight we're gonna bring back one of the topic that we talked about last time in I believe it's sometime in last year,
Yep.
which is the sugar. Last time we talked about sugar, how it's affect our body, etc. But this time we're gonna go a little bit of the different angle because, now like you said, recently you somehow noticed and looking at all these processed food, etc. And how they hide the sugar and how much sugar in there. So we thought, last time we talked about, oh, how much sugar can you add to your coffee, tea, etc., or from the pop, etc. But now this time around, we wanted to go from the point of view of actual, these food that like even bread or even processed food that sometimes you don't think salad dressing, etc., it's gonna be bad. But if you really look at the label, how they hide it. So, I'm gonna let you start with your experience because you and I talked about it for a few weeks now that, how you started watching that and how you feel and all of that. So,
Yeah, it's really fun, Dennis, because we always talk about this. Some of you may know that Dennis and I we work together on a lot of stuff, and one of the fun things is that we're talking about different things, but it seems to me that sugar kind of falls. We don't hear a lot about sugar, but yet when you think about diseases like diabetes, which is a sugar disease, we look at a lot of different things, inflammation, a whole bunch of different things. So about a month ago, I approached you and I said, I'm starting to look at what has added sugar, right? So
yeah,
this is not a carb restricted diet or nothing like that. It's just looking at labels. And we talked about the Yuka app, Yuka, which is
yeah,
a real fun app if people haven't downloaded it, because that app gives you a little bit of on a score from 0 to 100, kind of where this product falls as far as health, as far as certain potential dangers that could be in there for the food, the ingredients that are in. But what I wanted to see was what foods contained added sugar. So those are processed sugars, which we know, and you'll get into the details between glucose, fructose, and all the rest. But it's just added sugars. And then as I did that, I was just like, are you kidding me? Like when you start looking at the back of a label and you look at something like turkey breast,
mm-hmm,
natural turkey breast,
yeah.
that's just turkey slices, thinking this is good. They add sugar to it. And yet the ham didn't have any sugar added. So I'm going, what the heck? So I think the whole point of what we're going to talk about is really looking at knowing that, and I know you just went to a wonderful conference, you're going to talk about that. It's so important knowing what we put into our mouths. And if we know that we're having an ice cream sundae or whatever else, that's fine, because we know this is,
Sugar.
processed sugar and it's
Yeah,
really not a healthy thing. We know that it's good, that's fine. But it's when you're eating something like fast food. So fast food chains, I don't want to get sued by anybody,
yeah.
but fast food chains, if you take time to Google the ingredients, they put sugar in the French fries. And then
Mm-hmm.
you start trying to understand what is the purpose of putting sugar in a French fry? Like, so,
The reason is Norm, that both you and I know, and many people know that sugar is actually more addictive than cocaine. So
absolutely,
that's the reason that they put sugar in it. And we have everybody has a sweet tooth. So
absolutely.
when the food is on the sweeter side, we love it. We eat more of it, and that's the issue.
Yeah,
And and that's the thing, right? Everybody think that we're eating healthy, right? Like you said, turkey, right? Like you said, turkey slices, and like I try to buy like preservative free type turkeys, luncheon slices type of
Yeah,
thing because it's
yeah,
available. Like
yeah.
you think, oh, it's you know, additive free, but then they don't consider this artificial sugar and stuff as an additive, right? It's sugar. And
It
they
is,
don't
but
even they don't even put as a sugar anymore. Like they use all these different terms.
it's all fancy names, right? And
Yeah,
you're going to talk
yeah,
about high fructose
yeah,
corn syrup and
yeah,
all the rest of the
yeah,
stuff. But
absolutely.
the fun part is that we have the ability to vote for these products using our wallets.
Yeah,
So if we decide as consumers to say, hey, I'm just going to start looking and saying, why is sugar in there and there's no sugar in here? I'll just take the no sugar product instead, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
crackers, for example. We'll get into all that, but there's just a plethora of different things, and some don't have sugar,
No,
and some will say no added sugar. You can't take sugar out of a product that has fruit in it because it's
yeah,
fructose. You can't take
yeah,
that out.
yeah.
But I mean, if you have, and you know that from experience, and everyone that's listening too, if you take orange juice, oh my goodness, if you take orange juice and you look at a lot of them have a pile of added sugar. So you're taking a product that's already concentrated sugar and adding
And
fake
they
sugar.
add more. Yeah, yeah,
It's like Coke. It's
absolutely.
like drinking a
Yeah.
Coke.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, last time we talked about sugar, I believe that in a can of Coke, there's like 20 or 30 teaspoon of sugar
Yeah,
in it.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And, last time when I was talking about it, for me, I don't want it 10 to 15 gram of sugar a day from all the food, max like 20 gram. But I looked at World Health Organization recommendation and
Okay.
etc. And
Yeah.
for adult now they're saying you can have about 50 gram of sugar. Like from
Five
my point of
zero
view,
50.
50 a
Okay.
day.
Yeah.
So not bad, but you can easily get over that 10 times with all
Oh,
the added sugar that we're having in all these different food. Like
yeah.
so you have to really watch that,
Yeah.
especially for the kid. They said children are between 7 to 10, they should not have more than 24 gram of sugar. Never mind that. You look at these kids having a, juice box. Those
That's
juice
good.
box alone is like 30 gram of sugar.
You've already topped it right off
Yeah,
in one.
and you see that these kids drinking, one box for the breakfast, one box at lunch. Even if they don't drink the, sugar in the morning, they got like these cereals loaded with sugar, and then they have drinking box or juice or whatever in the afternoon. There's another 30 gram, and then they get home, they want another juice, whatever, and no wonder these kids are lethargic and gaining weight and uh, irritated.
High and low, high and
Yeah,
low. Yeah.
yeah. So
Well, it's fascinating to me. So it's been a great experiment, and I'm continuing with it.
yeah,
Just because I'm finding, I'll talk a little bit about that later. It's just a question of really this whole podcast is really talking about the sweet truth,
yeah,
not the sweet tooth,
yeah,
but the sweet
yeah.
truth of sugar,
Absolutely.
and
Yeah,
looking a little bit more at the what you do as far as your recommendations and what you do to work with people to really make them understand that, understanding that your carbs and all the rest of the stuff,
yeah,
and
yeah.
how you can limit that, how you can change that. And you really don't have to deprive yourself of too much.
No, no.
It's just looking at different things. So that's
Yeah.
really what the interest.
Reading the label is a big thing. And like, but from my point of view, is I tell a lot of people you need to eat more protein and more vegetables because the sugar and stuff that you get, carbohydrate that you got from vegetable is
Yeah,
complex and also with the fiber,
yeah,
right? And I also tell people that, if you're going to eat fruit, don't overdo it because I have a patient that come to me eating fruit by itself and then got totally lethargic and also got high cholesterol issue. And you think fruit is healthy, right? Everything has to be moderate. If you do something that too much, like that gentleman, you know him, who I'm talking about. And that gentleman, for him was, well, fruit is healthy, so I don't have time to eat properly, so I'm just gonna eat fruit. And
Yeah.
that's where his weight gain, and
Yeah.
low energy, and
Yeah.
also high cholesterol issue came in.
Yeah.
So
And even worse is I'm going to eat fruit and I'm going to eat concentrated fruit.
yeah, yeah,
So
those one,
concentrated
yeah,
juice.
the dry one. Yeah,
Yeah. And,
yeah.
and companies have become masters in putting these beautiful labels on there,
Oh yeah.
and looking at this and that. And I'm pretty sure I can say this publicly, but I remember years ago, Nutella, whatever they call it now,
Yeah.
they were labeling it as a healthy breakfast. They got sued and
Hmm.
lost big time.
Hmm.
They're
Oh
not
yeah.
marketing it as that is not a health food.
No,
You're
because
putting
it's
that on
so
anything.
sweet.
Yeah,
Amount of sugar that they added in, right?
right. That's right.
So
It's delicious, but it's not.
yeah,
You can't label that as a health food, right?
yeah. So when we talk about sugar, uh, there's different type of sugar, right? The table sugar itself, as we call it, sugar, but in there you have to go down to the molecular structure, etc.
Yeah.
So on the like table sugar, there's 50% glucose, 50% fructose.
Yeah.
Like table sugar is a sucrose.
Yeah.
And so when we take the table sugar, we put it in a coffee or tea, etc., or even in the cooking. Uh, that's 50% glucose, 50% fructose. So glucose, they both get absorbed straight into the bloodstream, and then glucose get to the muscle, and muscle start using and burn it as energy.
Yeah.
On the other hand, the fructose, the liver has to break down the fructose more down to glucose.
Yep.
And either it's going to use it as a energy, or it's going to store it. But the fructose, when liver converted, it does not store as a something called, like when glucose get converted to storage, liver store it as another molecule called glucagon. And
Okay.
that is a store sugar in the liver.
Okay.
But when liver convert the fructose, the storage form is not glucagon.
Uh-huh.
When you got so much glucose and stuff and the body doesn't need it, the fructose, the liver convert to storage form,
Uh-huh.
guess what? It's cholesterol.
Uh-huh.
I've been telling for years that cholesterol is not from the fat. Cholesterol is from the sugar, especially the fructose. So now, last 10, 15 years, our food industry is so smart that they make this high fructose corn syrup because it's less expensive and you don't need a lot because it's so sweet. It's what they said. And it's healthy because it's fructose. But in actual cases, those ones are actually overloading our liver, and liver is converting to cholesterol and people getting fat. That is actually from these corn fructose, high fructose corn syrup. And we're seeing, like, just last 6 months, I have a few people email me and said, I have a non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. What do I do? Can you help me? Like, even like, I was at JJ Virgin Leadership Summit last week,
Yeah.
and one of the keynote speakers, Dr. Mark Hyman, he's the functional medicine doctor that I follow, and he's also created the one and only functional medicine clinic in Cleveland Clinic.
Yeah.
And he just recently wrote that he's seeing a lot of patients with liver cirrhosis, which is liver damage, because of the high fructose corn syrup. Because when after you get the fatty liver, if you cannot manage the fatty liver, then the liver cells start getting damaged because of the high sugar cause
Wow.
inflammation.
Yeah.
And so now your liver's inflamed and now you got liver damage,
Wow.
which is really, really sad.
Yeah. And the problem is that the person doesn't necessarily take the time to read the label.
No.
I believe most soft drinks use that.
Oh, yeah.
It's used in a lot because you said it's really, really cheap.
Yeah.
And it's addictive and it
Yeah.
makes things very, very sweet.
Like even
So,
in some bread, I saw the high fructose
yep.
corn syrup, and
Yep.
they don't list it as a high fructose corn syrup anymore because
Oh,
everybody know that. So sometimes they list it as a fructose syrup or
Yeah.
whatever, like different name. I can't even keep up with it. They have
No, I
so
know.
many different names
I know.
there,
Yeah.
but you have to really be careful with it. So when I buy bread and stuff, like I read the label.
Yeah.
Everything you have to read the
You
label.
have
If
to.
there's a label, you have to read the label. One
Yeah.
of the things that Dr. Mark Hyman said is that you should eat the product that does not have a label and ingredient
Yeah.
list.
That's the
And
ideal.
that's
Yeah.
better. But still, you need to be careful that you don't overdo it like, my patient did. And just with the fresh fruit,
Yeah.
that's what he was eating. But the whole day, that was the only thing he was eating. And that end up him into, low energy fatigue and high cholesterol.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. And also, Dennis, for those that don't know, like there's a glycemic index, right?
yeah.
And maybe go over that just a little bit of what that looks like as far as
Well,
sugar, for
like,
example.
right. Glycemic index, like they rated the food, how affect the insulin. And so
Yep.
glycemic index from 0 to 100 is
Yep.
that's how they rate it. So
Yep.
the lower the number, the better it is for your
Okay.
insulin, function, etc.
Okay.
So you can actually get. I When I was doing training, there was a PhD, and her name was Sherry Lieberman.
Okay.
She actually wrote a
Yep.
book
Yep.
uh, about glycemic index, and she actually compiled this tiny book. Every page is a list of product, lists of food with a glycemic index listed.
Wow.
Unfortunately, she passed away, I think, 10 years ago with the breast cancer.
Yeah.
And I was trying to get like like 2 days training with her, and she was so busy training other people that I couldn't get in. But that's another story.
Yeah.
But so that's how you look at it. And so it's interesting that you brought up glycemic index because I was reading either in Dr. Mark Hyman post or a World Health Organization post that they said agave and honey, they actually have a glycemic index.
They
And I
do.
believe, I could be wrong. I can't remember the number. One of them is better. But then from honey point of view, is because honey has other stuff in it that honey has become healthier, even though honey is higher glycemic index than agave. So,
Yeah.
you have to look at everything, right? Not just, okay,
Yes.
this is a glycemic index. Yes, you can use that.
Yeah.
But then based on that alone, you can't
Yeah.
really 100%,
Yeah.
go with it. So getting more and more complicated, but to try to keep it simple is that moderation. Like you can use agave, you can use honey. Like those two, I'm fine with it
Yeah.
as a sweetener.
Yeah.
And then maple syrup, of
Maple
course,
syrup. Yeah. Mhm.
those three will be what I use as a sweetener, but I will use it like, less than a teaspoon, half a teaspoon if I can help it.
Yeah.
And then, just a hint of sweetness there. And then you get whatever other nutrients from either honey or the maple syrup type of thing.
Yeah.
And that's how you go with it.
Yeah, definitely. And so when I started doing this, now remember,
Yeah.
all I did is I cut out or tried to cut out
Yeah.
anything with added sugar.
Hmm.
I'll tell you right away, anybody who's listening, if you try to do it just for the fun of it, you don't have to stop eating pasta and all the rest of the stuff. Just look at anything that has added sugar, right?
Yeah.
And it's like the first few days, it's it's unbelievable. And I'm going to say we're really healthy because everything's, there's no
Yeah.
processed
Yeah.
food. It's all, but the craving that I had to get more sugar from a
Hmm.
cookie or from what
Yeah.
was unbelievable.
Yeah.
It was, I'm okay now. It's been 4 weeks, but
Yeah.
at the beginning it was just like, oh my God, I
Yeah.
want
Yeah.
sugar. I just want sugar.
Because, your body is addicted without
You're,
knowing it,
you're super addictive. So of
Yeah.
course, yogurt, unless it's plain yogurt,
Yeah.
yogurt will have sugar, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
instead of eating a yogurt, you can eat a plain yogurt, put a little bit of maple syrup or honey in it. Like you can
Exactly.
change
Yeah.
the way you
Yeah.
do
Oh,
things.
yeah. That's what I do,
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely. It's just it was really cool the effect of the, as far as I know, I'm not addicted to anything else. But the I was just like, oh my God, I wanted sugar so bad. It was just like, I didn't do it. I was able
Yeah.
to push through, but about week two, then you started feeling okay. Well, it's not bad now. It's pretty much gone,
Yeah.
but it's still like I couldn't believe the incredible
Yeah.
power
Yeah.
that had.
Sugar head on. Yeah.
It's
So
unbelievable.
right now, after 4 weeks, if you're trying to eat those food with the added sugar, you're gonna be totally exhausted.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, you're gonna be totally exhausted. Within an hour or so, you're gonna get sleepy, you're gonna get tired.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Your
It's
body's it's going to
your
be too.
body's yeah, it can't handle it. It's
Yeah.
just too much sugar and
Yeah.
you got sugar overload and your body's just gonna uh put you to
And,
sleep.
and the fun part is that this is a free experiment. You can just have fun with it, but
Yeah,
also your taste buds become much more acute to the taste of sugar,
yeah,
right? So now if
yeah.
you taste a potato chip, so potato
Oh,
chips, plain chips don't have sugar, but if you
yeah.
have anything that has
Flavor like
yeah,
ketchup
flavor,
or something like
yeah,
that.
sour
Yeah,
cream and onion or whatever, ketchup.
yeah.
You look at the back, they add sugar. So you eat those, oh my God, they're so good and stuff. But a plain chip doesn't have sugar. So you can eat a plain chip and say, well, it's not too sugary. But I had a real chip over the weekend. I'm like, does it ever taste sugary? And you can actually taste it. It's pretty
Taste it.
pretty
Yeah,
incredible how fast the human body adapts,
yeah.
right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, your taste changed like within a week or two.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
kind of cool that you
Oh
don't
yeah,
have to
I
make
know.
massive changes.
I know. Yeah,
One little change, and that was
yeah.
it. Just
And the other thing is all the added sugar actually uh in the long run cause insulin resistant because you got so much sugar added.
yeah,
These, high fructose corn syrup, the liver's dividing it up to converting it to glucose and stuff. And so it's fructose gives so much glucose out of it
yeah,
that the body cannot use it up.
yeah,
And now your muscles have become resistant to insulin because the more sugar it's come out, the more glucose is come out from the high fructose corn syrup, the body has to put more insulin out to push the glucose into the muscle cell to burn it.
yeah,
Or insulin will then convert it into, glucagon. But you can only store so much as a glucagon. So the best, again, I've said it before, the best storage energy is fat, which is cholesterol. So then that's where, you got so much cholesterol deposit fat. You're going to start seeing a non-alcoholic fatty liver. Your
yeah,
liver enzymes going to go up because now your liver is holding so much fat. And
yeah,
then start creating cholesterol, and then later on you're gonna see cholesterol level going up in your blood, and
yeah.
then the doctor will say you're gonna have a heart attack. So we gotta give you on these high cholesterol anti-cholesterol medication and stuff.
But what I find interesting is that why is sugar not the first thing to say? Why don't you just start cutting down your sugar intake?
Because people somehow don't think sugar is dangerous, and to the point that at the JJ Virgin conference, one of the physician, she's oncologist, and she was so upset talking about this, and she got up and said that a lot of the oncology team are telling these cancer patients to drink boost and ensure to keep the weight. But if you look at those can of boost and ensure, a can has 39 grams of sugar,
Yeah,
and they're telling these patients to drink 6 cans a day.
yeah,
Well, we all know that cancer loves sugar. So why are they telling people to, drink these Ensure and Boost, which is loaded with sugar?
yeah. And again, it comes back to what I said before. Why didn't they? Why don't we make sugar front and center, as opposed
Yeah,
to saying salt or fat or whatever? Like, no, we don't.
it's the sugar industry.
Yeah,
Like when way back when, uh, and literally that it's proven that they actually pay American Heart Association,
wow.
saying it's the fat from food that
Yeah.
cause the heart attack, not the
Yeah.
sugar.
Yeah.
So, low fat, low salt diet that they've done last 20, 30 years, if you look at it, high sugar.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I
Yeah,
remember that clearly years ago when they came out with low fat mayonnaise and all
yeah,
this stuff.
yeah,
What they did is they hyped up the sugar content,
yeah,
so it still tasted good.
yeah,
So you're like, okay, it's good, and there's less
yeah,
fat,
yeah.
but they
Low
hyped up
fat,
the
yeah.
sugar.
Sugars, yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah, is there what? Well, there's obviously a big difference, but the difference between a natural sugar and an artificial sugar.
oh,
Um,
absolutely. Well, natural sugar is because, like, say, from the fruit, right?
yeah,
Even fruit juice and fruit itself, it's
yeah,
different. If you eat a fruit, there's a fiber, there's like sugars are complex in the fiber.
right,
So it's slowly released into your
right,
bloodstream. Compared to fruit juice, then, the sugars are all in the liquid form.
yeah,
Guess what? Glucose and fructose does not need anything. They just get into your gut and straight absorb to and get into the bloodstream. And Dr. Mark Hyman said, if you have too much these sugary, either even from the juice and stuff, if you have it too much, later on, these sugar actually punch hole in your gut
oh boy, now you're
and
going
your
to
gut
leaky gut.
become leaky gut. And then, other protein and stuff, undigested food, etc., that not supposed to get into your bloodstream, now getting into through these leaky gut. And that's where all the autoimmune stuff has start going on. So even if you eat healthy and you are not aware of these added sugar, and or you're gonna drink orange juice like throughout the day. Like one of my sisters did that, and she gained weight.
Oh
Like
yeah,
she can drink a liter of orange juice a day when she
oh yeah,
came and visit us, and I'm like, "You're drinking too much sugar." She's
yeah,
like, "No, orange juice is healthy." I'm like, "No," you know. Like for example, 15 years ago, there was a crave for organic blueberries and organic cranberry and raspberry juice saying antioxidant is so good. Study came out, everybody wanted it.
yeah,
Yeah. And so I started carrying at my store because people asked me knowing that, I'm the integrated healthy
yeah,
pharmacy. So
yeah.
why don't I carry it? So I brought it in. And then the company will sell it as a liter and a half bottle. And I have people coming in buying one bottle every other day. And
Wow.
I then I read the label and a cup 250 ml, which is what usually people drink, like one tall glass,
Yep.
has about 60 gram of sugar.
Oh wow.
So I talked to my mentor, Dr. Pam Smith. You met her
Of course, yeah.
from anti-aging fellowship. I
Yep.
said, Pam, the studies are saying that it's good antioxidant. And I didn't read the study. I just had the,
Yep.
abstract of it. So I talked to her and I said, but people are buying like a liter and a half every 2 days or so. Like, and a cup of, 250 is like 60 gram of sugar. And she started laughing. She said, you need to download the full study and read it. And then you tell me. So I went and paid for it. I bought the study. I read it. Their study that they give patient 2 ounces.
2 ounces.
Yeah,
Okay.
60 ml.
60 instead of two.
Meantime, based on that, these companies are advertising saying, oh, organic blueberry juice is healthy according to the study, so you should drink it. So
Yeah.
people were like chugging it down,
Yeah. 6 times. Yeah. Like crazy.
and
Yeah.
so they're not getting healthy, but they're getting fat and they're getting inflamed because of the sugar.
Well, yeah, that's for sure, right? The sugar causes inflammation for
Oh,
sure.
absolutely.
There's
Yeah.
no doubt about that. And it
Like,
causes
when you get too much sugar and you become type 2 diabetes, and I've said it before, Alzheimer is also due to inflammation, and the inflammation mainly is overload of sugar. So
Yep.
Alzheimer now, they are actually calling Alzheimer as type 3 diabetes.
Yep. Yep. I've heard that many times.
So, whoever had type 2 diabetes, if they don't watch what they eat and they don't reverse that type 2 diabetes, sooner than later, they were gonna get Alzheimer.
Yeah.
And
Well, that's it.
that's what Harvard and Cleveland Clinic and those guys are saying. It's not my word. It's these big medical, groups are saying.
Yeah, and I think as more podcasts like this, and the more people just hear small little tips that they can do to
Yeah,
reduce their sugar intake, right?
absolutely. Yeah,
So what do you
absolutely.
recommend to your patients as far as trying to reduce the amount of sugar that they're
Well,
eating?
like what you said, right? You if you don't want to, you don't need to change 100%.
Yeah,
But just reading the label and knowing that what has sugar, how much sugar they have,
yeah,
and selective, being selective and choose, right?
yeah,
One of my mentor, Dr. Hal Blackman,
yeah,
the pain specialist
yeah.
from
We have, yeah,
Cincinnati,
yeah,
now he's teaching at the Bestia at the naturopathic college also.
yeah,
And first time I met him, he was teaching me about how to manage pain and how to find trigger point and stuff. And then in the evening we went out for dinner, and I was lucky enough got invited to go for dinner with him. And as we sat down, he's beside me and he's looking at the menu and he's like, man, and humming. I'm like, okay, what? And he looked at me, he said, choose your poison wisely. And then he smiled. I'm like, damn, what am I gonna eat now?
there's nothing
Going
good on
out
the
to eat
menu.
with these guys. And like I that always stuck with me. I'm always order dessert. You know me.
Oh yeah,
That
yeah,
night dinner, I avoided dessert.
yeah. And again, it's not. And since I've met you
Yeah.
decades ago,
And
you,
so, for other people, right,
yeah,
people that work with me, I have specific menu guide that
yeah,
I ask them to follow
yeah,
with breakfast, lunch, supper, etc.
yeah,
So, some people can do it like you can, okay, go watch and whatever. For other people, may need a bit more, help and direction.
yeah,
So that's why I created my uh, 3 months program also. It's because if you need more help,
yeah.
then come join the group, and then we will then send you daily email of breakfast, lunch, and supper recipe, and menu guide suggestion. And
Excellent.
then that give you some ideas of, okay, what can I eat, what should I eat, and at least some guidance so that you're not wrecking your brain. Well, so do I have to read every label? I don't want to. Well, then, there's an alternative way of doing it. So everybody is different,
Yes.
but, so there's many options that we have. Like you said, you know, read the label a little bit and trying to choose what you should and you shouldn't,
Yeah.
and
Like
how
I
much
have.
sugar you want to cut it, right? You know that within 4 weeks, like you said, whatever, that alone make it so different and how you feel
Yeah.
and how your focus and energy
Yeah, and
change.
I'm going to continue. I'm going to continue.
Yeah,
No, I'm going to
it's a
continue. Yeah, I'm going to continue doing it because the fun part I have is I don't do a lot of grocery shopping, but when I do, if you want a cracker, for example,
yeah,
so I went in and I looked at something called Triscuit.
yeah,
Well, everybody knows what a Triscuit is. The Yuka app actually rates it pretty high. But then I looked at Triscuit, the plain Triscuit, no sugar. It's
yeah,
whole wheat. It's all just three ingredients. But Triscuits that has any sort of a flavor in it has sugar.
yeah,
So you just pick the one that doesn't have sugar. Chips, like I
right,
said, regular chips don't have sugar.
exactly, yeah,
It's
yeah,
just fun to do that, to say, okay, well, does it make a difference? And then
yeah,
do it for a few days and see how much you get a craving
yeah,
for sugar.
yeah,
It's kind of a fun experiment,
yeah.
and just realizing,
If you can get over the hump of craving, then you're good.
yeah, yeah, it's just fun to do it. Like
Yeah,
to
and
get,
like I said, if you don't continue and if you go back onto whatever within like the first day, you're gonna feel really lethargic and really foggy, and you'll hate it.
As soon as
And
I have
if you
sugar.
can go back to, eating properly and selecting it, then you'll be fine. If not, you just ignore it, and
Yeah.
then you're gonna go back to, whatever the
Yeah.
previous, and you won't.
So,
After
so
a while, you won't feel it.
well,
But
we still have a little bit of time. So that
yeah,
is something that's completely different than, say, somebody who's going on a keto diet, where
yeah,
they say, I'm not eating any carbs. That means zero sugar, from what I understand. I've never
yeah,
done keto.
yeah.
What does that look like as far as how does
Oh,
that work?
it's hard.
Yeah, that's no
It's
sugar.
hard
Okay.
because if you do true ketogenic diet,
Yeah,
I'm not saying you cannot do it. You can,
yeah,
but it's hard.
yeah.
So what I do is the least carbohydrate that you can. You still, when you said no carbohydrate, that means you cannot even, how about vegetables? Because vegetables has carbohydrate. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
complex,
yeah.
right? So uh, that's why, Atkins diets, right? A lot of people fail Atkins diets because
Yep,
Atkins is like strict ketogenic,
yep.
and not not trying to say any bad thing about Dr. Atkins.
No,
Have
no,
you ever seen his photo?
no.
He's actually round and big.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to say fat, but it's actually he looks fat.
Interesting.
And I've actually had a chance to attend a lecture that later on took over his Atkins diet, the
Okay.
physician, because this physician was working with Dr. Atkins. And when Dr. Atkins came up with the Atkins diet, he didn't like it. He left. And then when after Dr. Atkins passed away and the diet falling favor of from a lot of people, he came back and they asked him to come back in. And so he said, okay, I'm going to modify it. If you allow me to modify it, then I will redo it. And he didn't really market it as Atkins anymore. He
Okay.
called it modified Atkins. What that means is that he added a lot of vegetables
Ah, okay.
into it. And he said people that he put that menu guide on, they can sustain it. And you
Okay.
don't have to measure the ketones and stuff. But there's still ketogenic, camp that's still going on, and with the ketogenic supplement and all of the ketones and stuff,
Yeah.
you can do it great. You still have to that group. You still have to monitor your ketone in the urine, making sure that you are in ketosis, which means you're spelling ketone into your urine. And for me, that is actually not. I don't think it's healthy, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yes, and
So
there's obviously varied opinions, but
yeah,
just from a personal note, is everybody that I've ever known that has done that. Yes, they usually do it to lose weight. Number
yeah,
one,
yeah,
so they lose a lot of weight, but the problem is that it's not sustainable.
not
And then
sustainable.
what happens is they go back and then they end up gaining all their weight
Again, yeah, yeah,
plus more.
because they
Right.
not watching or they not going to healthy, they
Right.
didn't learn it to eat healthy,
Right.
right?
And
So
that's what you've always said. It's about a lifestyle.
style,
You have to have
exactly.
a lifestyle that's good for you.
Yeah,
Because if you try to cut out everything that's fun to eat and you eat, it's not sustainable, right? It's
no,
still
no,
fun and it's
no,
not
yeah.
sustainable. Yeah.
And that's why, like, when I do the program, I do 3 months because then that also teach you what food works for you,
Yeah.
your body, what food your body will give you better energy and better focus,
Yep.
what food's gonna exhaust you and give you inflammation.
Yep.
Even though I have the menu guide, that's sort of the guide. And
Yep.
then depending on individual person, you learn to listen to your body, and then you can modify as your body is telling you. So
Yep.
when you can learn to do that, and I find it that it takes about 2 months, if not 3 months, depending on person to person. After 3 months, then you started learning what food work for you, what time and how much to eat it.
Yep.
Like,
Absolutely.
one time last year I got a Jen Stevens, intermittent fasting specialist, with me on the call. You remember, and she talked about, you know, what is the right way to do intermittent fasting. Like everybody's different. So
Everybody's different.
she even give the example of herself and her husband.
Yeah.
She can eat 2 meals only, and her breaking up the fast is not until 1. But
Yeah.
in between that 1 to 7, that 5-hour window, she will actually have a lot of protein, a
Yeah.
lot of vegetables,
Yeah.
and little bit of carb.
Yeah.
And then she can do 2 meal. For
Yeah.
her husband, he has to break the fast at 11 in the morning, but he cannot have 2 meals, so he has to have smaller 4 meal, and
Yeah.
then he stop at 5 o'clock,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that works for him. So everybody is different, but when you break the fast, you need to eat enough so that your body get the enough calorie to survive.
I remember the expression was feast
Fast
while you're
and
fasting,
feast.
right?
Yeah,
So you
exactly.
got to make
Yeah.
sure you eat properly while you're fasting,
While
right?
you're
Where,
breaking the fast. So
Dennis, you mentioned that program a couple of times. Is there where can people get more information on that, as far
well,
as what the program looks like or what the
yeah, absolutely. I did not put that link here, but they can go to the website
Okay. So
and
Cinnamon.com.
sendin.com, and then they can then message us through there,
Yep.
and then I can send the link to them.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah. And I'm actually starting the group program on October 7th, which is next Monday.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be trying to close the registration by this Friday so that we can start one group type of thing.
Yeah.
And Thursday I have another webinar talking about the whole thing. So on Thursday I may try, and depending on how many people need help and wanted to do the group program, in a week later, I may start another week, or like a week or two later, I may start another week. I'm looking at the demand, because uh, it's I don't want a big group either,
Yeah.
so that I can
I,
actually properly support the group and help
yeah.
them.
That's really that's a real great way of doing things. I think people when they're in groups too, their chances of success is a lot higher
Yeah.
because they can feed off each other, feed
Yeah,
off
yeah,
they can
and
help
yeah,
each other, and
yeah,
give
because they're
tips
gonna be,
and
when we started, they're gonna be in that group that they can chat and share information.
like
And I'm running through
private group.
the app inside the app that has a menu guide and all of that, and they can record if they want, they can record what they eat, and they can record exercise and water and sleep, all of that inside there. So
Excellent. Well, that's fantastic. Yeah, got to get the word out. And I don't know
yeah.
if there's any questions from anyone as far as sugars. I hope everybody takes that little bit of a challenge and tries to just eliminate added
Mm-hmm,
sugars.
mm-hmm.
See how you feel. It's kind of fun.
Absolutely.
I was talking to the staff the other day, saying, "Try it. Just try for a little bit, see how you
Yeah.
feel." And
Yeah.
that's the big thing: is if you start feeling better, you start looking better, you're not as swollen.
Yeah.
You know what? You'll continue to do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay,
I
so
I'm gonna modify this link there if I can
yep.
quickly. Oh, come on. Sorry, computer sometimes doesn't want to work.
Oh yeah, and no, there's no surprise there, right?
Yeah, always. I believe I got it. No. Okay. Here we go. Yeah.
You got it.
After
Okay.
the CNN.com, there's healyouFromWithin.com / ultimate health. That's the group program sign up page.
Okay. Perfect.
Thanks for
And again,
reminding me now. Yeah.
yeah. Well, it's just you mentioned it a couple times, and
Yeah.
sometimes we skip over things, but
I
everybody
know.
needs a little bit of help, you know.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And
That for me, when I was way back when I was really sick, like both me and Sandy, we just have to like pull our socks up and started learning and changing everything we do, and like to the point that I've learned about Teflon coating and all of that. And so we literally went out and bought the whole set of stainless steel pots, and we threw
Oh,
out all our Teflon coated
anything with
pans. And
Teflon.
yeah,
That's another episode.
yeah, absolutely. That's another episode about toxin and stuff. Yeah, yeah,
No,
for
it's
sure.
true, and I think part of the message too is like don't wait till you're sick to do something.
Yeah, no, you have to,
Like
like,
do it while you're healthy.
we can help you reverse it, but
Yes.
if you can prevent it, it's
Yeah.
faster,
Yeah, do
you
it while
know.
you're healthy
Yeah,
and do things like
yeah,
that while you're healthy.
yeah,
I didn't decide to
absolutely.
do that because I was told I had diabetes or anything. I just decided that I'm gonna just try something that seems relatively easy,
Yeah,
but then became very like, oh my God, is there sugar? Why would there be
yeah,
sugar
yeah.
in, in
It's
processed
scary.
meat?
Like, especially like I said last week, I was contacted by a couple of patients, and like they having non-alcoholic fatty liver. I'm like, I know what's going on. That you just have to, change how you eat and watch what you're eating and what you're drinking, right?
Yeah,
Like,
get rid
I
of
have
it.
not had pop in my house uh for 20 years. Like my older son is 19, he just turned 19, and the only time he had pop is now when he's going out. He's in university, so he's
Yeah,
buying his own pop,
yeah,
but he doesn't drink it all the time. That's a treat, you
yeah.
know.
That's like
So
us. Yeah,
yeah,
there's
yeah,
no pop.
no,
It's
and
just
yeah,
not. It's not. That's probably one of the best examples of something that has no value at all.
yeah, yeah.
There's no nutritional
So
value. There's
no,
nothing except
yeah.
for the highs
So
from the sugar
for
and
our kids, it's mostly they will drink diluted juice.
see,
Yeah,
which is fine.
they don't even allow to drink full juice, and they're used to it.
Yeah,
Only they get full juice and stuff when they go to the restaurant or we're traveling.
and
Then
they
they'll
probably
drink
find it
full
very
juice.
sugary.
Yeah, yeah.
It tastes very sugary.
Otherwise, yeah. Otherwise, at least 50-50 juice and water. If not, a third of juice and two-thirds of water. That's how they've been drinking since they were little. So
Yeah. And it's all these little tips. Uh,
yeah,
you got life is fantastic. We have a lot of fun things,
yeah,
and sugar is never going to go
yeah.
away. It's
No,
just managing it and understanding where it's at and knowing when you're consuming it is for me that's the biggest thing,
exactly.
is knowing
Exactly.
that you're
Yeah.
consuming extra
And
added
like,
sugar.
Dr. Daniel Amen, the
Yep,
brain doctor,
yep,
right?
yep.
His father used to own a grocery store, and they saw a lot of candy. So
Yeah.
he said he's actually was addicted to
Oh,
candies.
of course.
And so when he became the brain doctor and he see how much inflammation the sugar caused, then he switched to water, but then because he can't get rid of the addiction, so he needs some flavor. So he'll put like, half a teaspoon of honey or some sort of, flavoring, a
Yeah,
little bit of juice, a teaspoon of juice into the water type of thing. And
yeah,
that's how he drank.
yeah,
And so I'm like, okay, when I heard that, when I was doing training with him, I'm like, okay, when my kids, when we have kids, that's it. They're not getting straight juice.
yeah, yeah.
And
And
that's how
try to
we've done it. And
try to limit.
initially they wanted cereal. We bought some cereal for them, but after they were like 5 or whatever, because we train them so much, we buy cereal. It sit there. They eat it once, and then it's too sweet. They don't like
It's
it.
too
Just
sweet.
sit there.
Yeah,
And so now we don't buy cereal anymore. Like
yeah,
for probably 10 years that we don't have cereal
yeah.
in our house.
But
So it's
yeah, that's such a good example of
yeah.
like small choices have
Hmm.
massive consequences
Oh,
in our life, right?
absolutely,
Small
absolutely.
choices on a
Yeah.
daily basis
And
have huge
you
consequences.
look at it at the school, right? All these kids, oh, ADD, ADHD. Well, a lot of them are malnutrition and high on sugar.
And you can just speak to any teacher and ask them what do the kids
Yeah,
have in their lunch boxes,
yeah.
and it's unbelievable
Oh,
what the
I
kids
know.
are eating. It's
Yeah,
and then they say
it's
the kid's lethargic, doesn't have
yeah,
any energy, can't
yeah,
concentrate,
yeah.
can't whatever, and that's why there's I'm pretty sure going to be provincial. There's federal programs going in for breakfast, so every student's going to get a healthy breakfast. We'll
Good.
see what that looks like, but
Yeah,
it's like at least that people will have the chance to start the day off well and also have the proper nutrition so that they
absolutely.
can filtrate. They
Yeah,
don't have the
yeah,
high and the
yeah.
low, and then
No,
you know,
I know. It's
yeah,
it's crazy. It's
yeah,
crazy. So
yeah. Well, it's all fun and games. We're lucky that we live in a country that we can choose to decide that.
yeah.
Obviously, the other issue is that cost, because um, sometimes when you go into grocery stores and stuff, what is the expression you say? You never go on the outside, always go on the inside, or go where the fruits and vegetables.
Go on the perimeter. Don't go
Yeah,
into the
don't
yeah,
go, don't go into the aisles. Go where all the
yeah,
fresh stuff is,
yeah.
where there's no
And I
barcodes.
know like some people tell me that, oh, eating healthy is expensive.
Yep.
You should talk to Dr. Mark Hyman.
Okay.
He actually has, I think 5 years ago, or actually 6 or 7 years ago, he was literally going into people's house
Okay.
and teaching them how to do grocery shop himself
Okay.
and cooking.
Okay.
And he'll find food, healthy food like vegetables and meat that is inexpensive,
Yeah.
and you can still get home and cook healthy and eat healthy.
Yeah.
So
There-
it's just a little bit of knowing what to buy, how
Yeah.
to buy it.
Yeah.
It's not that everything is expensive. Yeah, if you're gonna go, 100% organic, yes, it's expensive.
Well, it's yeah.
But you can pick and choose, and knowing, like for example, if you use a environmental, working group website, there's a clean six clean
Dirty.
15 and dirty dozen
Yeah.
list.
Yeah.
So if the least you can do is that look at these 12 vegetables that consider dirty, you buy those organic.
Yeah.
And then there's a 15 or 16 of the fruit and vegetable that they listed as clean. Those one you don't even have to buy organic.
Yep.
You can just buy regular stuff and it's still
Yeah.
clean,
Yeah.
because the way the skin, etc., whatever, the way the fruit and the vegetables, that pesticide won't stay on long. And
Yeah.
then there's way of cleaning stuff, etc., right?
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. There's definitely ways.
yeah,
One of the big things was it's convenient, right, to go
yeah,
into the freezer part and pull out all this
yeah,
freezer
and
stuff.
then just microwave it.
And that's a whole other topic.
Yeah, we got a
Right.
couple of topics there.
Yeah, there's another couple of topics, but the thing is that the point of everything we do on a daily basis has a cumulative effect on
Yeah,
our health. You
yeah.
can you can talk to billionaires that would give up everything to get their health back if they were sick.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
why
Yeah,
not? Why don't we just take care of the most important thing now
yeah,
and say, yes, it's
yeah,
a little bit more work. Yes, it
yeah,
might be maybe or maybe not a little bit more expensive, but it is more a bit
yeah,
more
yeah.
thinking. You have to think about it.
Yeah.
And take the
And,
time to do that.
talking about sugar,
Yeah,
it's a toxin, and
yeah,
we're talking about these pesticides and stuff.
yeah,
The other toxic thing that I'm going to have one of the physician, actually, he's a surgeon,
yeah.
that going to come and talk about is uh, how toxic breast implants are.
Oh
He's
my
actually
goodness!
breast surgeon.
Wow.
He used to put these implant. Now he is actually, last year he actually removed over 1,000 breast implant. And after
Wow.
removing it, people were still getting sick. So he's actually helping them with nutrition, food, and lifestyle to get healthier.
Is it
So
because of the silicone, or
I'm sorry?
was it the silicone breast?
Yeah, not just the silicone, but the enclosure.
Okay.
And apparently these enclosure actually have heavy metal in it.
Oh, beautiful.
And so I'm booking a time with him.
Yep.
He's gonna come on and talk to me about it. We're gonna try to do recording, because he is busy to the point that he has about 5 podcast interview a day. At the same time, he does 5 surgery removing breast implant.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Removing them.
removing them. Yeah, he's in Austin. He got people contacting now all over the world, not just US.
Wow. That's
So
that's just great.
he's gonna be on it, coming to talk to me, and then I'm gonna have another uh, gynecologist, breast cancer specialist, Dr. Jen Simon.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get her on our podcast. She's gonna talk about how to prevent breast cancer, how to screen breast cancer, all of that,
Nice.
and how to, again, food, lifestyle, supplement. It's like, we all are all integrated functional. So what is causing breast cancer? How do you prevent it? If you have it, how do you um, get healthier? All of that. And
Beautiful.
so there's a few people that I met at the last week conference. The other person that I'm going to bring on is a pharmacist
Okay.
specialized in mast cell activation syndrome.
Okay. Whoa.
That has been really big the whole summer. That I got a lot of people email me and ask me about mast cell activation syndrome. Do you know about it? Can you work on it? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely, I can help you.
Wow.
But this, a friend of mine, pharmacist in US, that's all she does. Is that's her area of specialty. So I told her she gotta come on my uh, podcast also. So I got a few good people lined up for this
Great.
fall and winter podcast that they won't be live, but all be recorded. But after that, then, like we did with the fast and feast, you and
Yeah.
I will be there, and then we can answer any question after that.
Yeah.
If there's any question, if not, then I can then pass these question on to these specialists. So I'm excited.
Oh
We're
yeah.
gonna we're gonna keep running these things every 2 weeks, and we're gonna have some of these people. I even have one physician. She's vegan.
Okay.
I don't promote vegan because it's hard to get enough protein, but she's South Asian origin.
Okay.
So she's gonna talk about Ayurveda and the whole vegan and how she treat people with the vegetables and stuff. So
Okay.
it's gonna be interesting
Oh
also. Yeah.
wow. Well,
So
there's all
yeah,
the
I got quite a few people that I ask and line up for the podcast. So it's gonna be a lot of fun and a lot of knowledge.
excellent. Well, that's a lot of fun, and then thanks. And then one thing too is that you're definitely open to for if people have suggestions of things they want to hear more about.
Yeah,
Send me the
absolutely.
topic,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, you can put it comment on Facebook, and we're always looking for different ideas and new ideas also. So um, we got next a few months, fall and winter,
yeah,
that we will be doing the podcast. So
good. That's terrific. Well, thanks, Dennis. That was
great,
wonderful.
yeah,
I appreciate
thank
the
you,
insight
and
on the
I hope
business.
that the information that we shared tonight is helpful, and looking forward to seeing many of you on the future podcast. Like I said, we're gonna have talk about breast implant, talk about breast cancer. I got another gynecologist that talk about the whole hormone balance and gut dysfunction. I've talked about a lot about, my thing is gut dysfunction. And
Absolutely.
this gynecologist, she walked through the whole hormone imbalance through the gut. And she used to call herself gutsy gynecologist, but she switched it because she's also a Christian practitioner. So she's now call it fast to faith.
Ah, okay.
That she does this clean eating. She call it fasting,
Yep.
and then what uh, you know universe is telling you and all
Yeah.
of that. Yeah. So
Oh, that's
yeah,
fantastic.
it's gonna be a interesting year for us with the podcast.
Yes. Looking forward to all of
So
them.
yeah, absolutely. Until next time, thank you for joining us, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.